This commercial is brought to you by Harrison's Dollar Draft Night.
Dollar Draft Night at Harrison's. We don't have any clue what we're doing. Well, Mike, that was exciting. I enjoyed that.
Good.
And I enjoyed my Bob Evans coffee.
Woohoo! It is good tonight, isn't it? He brought it in a big.
I like that little
Do you need more?
thermos. Yes, but am I allowed to walk across?
Yeah, come on over and get some more coffee.
Over.
I normally wait for a commercial.
We'll bring
but
our guests up. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
come on up. Yes.
a little circle and head
That's
out.
right.
Bill, what kind of coffee is this? Just regular Bob Evans coffee.
Doesn't have any
He brought cream and sugar today. He brought cream, Mike, this week. I'm excited about that.
Yes. Well, he needed to take care of his diva here on the show.
Oh, are you talking about me? He's talking about me. He called me a diva.
I wasn't
you
talking
believe
about Joelle.
I'm not a diva. I've never, ever acted like a diva. Never.
Oh, your boo-boo.
My microphone's not working.
Oh, your boo-boo.
Joel, where are you headed out to? You going to? Are you a Sherpa? She's a Sherpa.
Come on, Sherpa.
She's a Sherpa.
Come on, Sherpa.
Don't wander too far because you got to hold up all the signs. Yeah, there you go. You get paid extra for that.
We're gonna put her to work.
Oh yeah, put it wherever you like. Oh yeah, perfect.
Fantastic.
Mike, I see a lot of people coming on the set,
Yes,
bringing
we
dogs
do.
and signs and stuff like that.
That's right.
Are these our guests, or
Yes,
have we
they
just been
are.
invaded?
They are.
Just wandered in off the street.
That's right.
We saw an open door and we decided to walk on.
I
in.
like that. That's good. Well, you're all wearing matching shirts. That means something.
We're part of a team.
That's right.
Nice. I like teams. Teams are cool.
We're good with being a team.
They're only $15. They're on sale.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I want a shirt.
Fundraiser for a low-cost spay and neuter. That's what we're using to try and make money so we can keep animals out of the shelters and try and get more people to spay and neuter their pets.
That's a good idea.
That's good. I like
tell
that.
you what, where I live, that whole area probably needs some cat spaying.
Oh.
and neutering.
Oh, the county
God.
offers that too.
Yeah, the Humane Society, Miami County Humane Society offers that. That's
I can barely walk down the sidewalk without tripping over one of those.
Oh no, I can walk from my house to the neighbor's house and never step on the ground.
And just like just step on cats.
Just step on
It would be a
cats.
catastrophe if you did.
It would be a catastrophe. It would be a cat. That's a Garfield reference right there. Garfield.
Catastrophe.
It's a catastrophe.
Well, one of the good things about that too is they have that capture and release.
Yes.
You know, just because that they are strays or feral, you know, it's not fair to have them euthanized because that's not their fault. So this, you know, they do have that capture and release, which is really great for them.
Cool.
So, but we are trying very hard to get a low-cost spay and neuter for dogs in the county.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we are dropping things. And we are hoping to get some participation. We're going to start doing some fundraisers. And we've sent letters to some of the local vets, hoping that maybe they would offer maybe a discounted rate, not free certainly.
you go.
And we're working on an application process for people and trying to determine what the average cost is in the area for the spays and neuters to be able to get out there and offer it as much as possible after the first of the year. We've got to give ourselves time to get some money raised. So we're looking and trying to think of ways that we can bring some cash in and get it going and supplement whatever else is out there for the animals.
Excellent.
That's cool. How did you guys get started?
Go ahead, Marianne. Take it.
Let's see. We were part of another organization, and
Or sing if you like. It's fine.
last March or so, we decided that it would be good for us to take care of our senior dogs out at our location, and so we got our 501c3, which makes us a tax-exempt charitable organization. We've got 24 dogs, and Molly, bless her heart, she is one of our girls. She's been in a foster home here for about 4 weeks now, and she's got a little waistline. Can you see that? She used to be quite heavy, but she's a real sweetie pie, and she's up for adoption. And the foster program allows them to move out of a shelter into a foster before they go into an adopted home. So anyway, we're, let me show you. We are Doggone Adoptions.
All right.
There we go.
Yay!
Hey.
And I bet that's where you go if you want more information. It's that website.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And then once we started in with doggone adoptions, and we saw a greater need in the community to do something to keep dogs and cats from being euthanized. And so we've got a huge vision of land and a building that we can rescue cats and dogs and keep them from being euthanized.
So what happens now, right, with if Fido goes in and runs away from the house, and
this is going to be a sad story, Mike. I can tell.
Animal control picks him up, right? And what happens then? What's the story then? What happens then?
I don't know what. Oh, hello. I don't really know.
Are you going to sing?
Yeah, I was going to. If you guys don't mind, I was going to think I'm nothing but a hound dog.
That would be timely.
Wouldn't it though? I think I can keep a beat. Can't carry a tune in a bucket, but that's okay with me as long as nobody else cares. And when she howls, we'll know I hit the wrong note.
There's 7 people watching this right now.
And my personal website is.
6 of them are in the room.
It's karaoke.com, Marcy.
Yeah, there you go.
But I truly do not know what the rules are for the animal shelter. I think some of it's fairly flexible. I don't truly know how long they wait. I don't know if as long as there is a spot that animal can stay, and if another one comes in, that they have to make a determination. Also, there is a new director there, which we're hoping that we were under the impression that right now they had not been allowing fosters, and that they weren't really encouraging volunteers because of a possibility of the animals escaping. So we're hoping that maybe they will be able to get more volunteers in. The new director is a business person, I believe, and get volunteers and fosters. That way, my thought would be, if an animal does come in, then if you've got people that are willing to foster, you are going to, the longevity of that animal is going to increase, because you're taking it out of the shelter and there's another spot.
There's no space issue.
Exactly. Right. And we're hoping that maybe that will be a change that comes down the pike. And what little bit we can do, since we do have a view of in the future maybe being able to go toward no kill, is that the best we can do right now, because fundraising takes a lot of time, and with the economy we can't hope to raise enough funds in a short time to get a building and get people on board. So our main goal is, if we can do low cost spay and neuter for canines, shelter has it taken care of for the cats, that we can then do our part, just trying to keep the population down, keep fewer from entering the shelter, and those decisions from having to be made. And we're hoping that we can get people who would be interested in fostering, and people who would be interested in donating some time, maybe some vets who are willing to give it a thought. And we don't have a place other than their offices that we could say, there's a central location.
Right.
Some cities have that, where the vets come into a shelter and they can donate their time there. We don't have that right now. So what we're saying is, if there's any vet who's willing to give a little bit of a discount, or be open to taking a client that may only come in that one time, that's what we're shooting for. And if we can even do 5 spays, in a month or 2 months, that is potentially a lot of animals, pregnant females not being dropped off, or a female's puppies constantly being taken in and letting her reproduce all the time.
Right.
So hopefully that will be something that will have a positive impact in the community.
Now, for foster parents, are the parents,
That's what I would call them.
Foster
Yeah,
parents.
trust me.
Foster
Yeah.
owners.
how long a time frame is that normally?
Well, you know what? We are really new to that part of it, so I am unsure. Molly has been being fostered for 2 months now.
About 5 weeks.
About
4 or
5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We had a potential home for her, which has since changed. And the people who are fostering her are kind enough to continue with it. We don't want her to come back to the shelter and have to then adjust back to that and then go into a home.
Right.
And some of these guys have been at our location, which is a no-kill, for several years, which is very sad in itself. But once they go out into a home to get adjusted and to become housebroken and see if they like cats, see how they interact with dogs other than the ones they're familiar with. We're novices to all that, so we didn't have fosters before. So now getting fosters, there will be an application process, because we want to be sure somebody might have an intent but may not have a fenced-in yard, or may not have the time that we think the dog might need to adjust to a new environment to go forward. So it could, and hopefully we don't want to have them fostered unless we have a potential home anyway, because that's not fair to the dog. I'll put you in a home, but oh man, we didn't have any idea where you were going to go. So after that,
Well, could a foster home develop into a permanent home?
Sometimes
if it worked out really well.
Yeah, I think sometimes they will possibly develop into a permanent home. Or some people, like
Joelle, how many? You got room for how many at your house?
She's got a new place.
Like 6 or 8.
Let me have
Boo.
We'll give you a down payment on a house.
That might defeat your fundraising.
Yeah, that might set you back a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what are the requirements to be a foster?
You have to be able to have pets in your house.
Exactly.
That's the first
That's rule number
Exactly.
one.
You mentioned a fenced-in yard, though?
Yeah, because really, the intention is good if a person wants to foster, but these guys, it's not home to them, and so unless you're going to walk them every time they're out or be with them, a fenced-in yard is a better idea. You can have the electric fence, but it doesn't stop another dog from coming in. And sometimes the battery gets a little low, somebody bolts. My brother had a dog who was willing to take the hit to get through the electric fence. So it just gives them a boundary that they're more familiar with. And everybody has a good spirit of intent when it comes to walking, just like exercise, where I say I'm going to exercise, and then it's like, well, it's raining, well, it's snowing, well, I'm tired, well, popcorn sounds better. So, you might say that you're going to walk your dog. If I don't have a fence, I'm going to walk this foster dog every day, 3 times a day. But anything can enter into that and change it. So fenced-in yard is number one. We're still working on the application process. We are gleaning from several different rescue groups who do have fosters for this to say, how would we work that out? What sounds good from all of those so that we could work out something that person knows, here's the expectation, here's what we need. If you can't, it's great, whatever you can do. And ultimately, like I said, the fundraisers we're doing for the other thing for the spay and neuter are completely separate from our group. We're helping to spearhead it. But we want to, these guys are safe. We'd love for them to have a home, but we are no kill. So what we want to, besides people keeping that in mind that we have all senior dogs, nobody's under 7. And some of them are 10 and 11 and came to us as adults. So we would love for people to be interested in ours, and we do have our website, doggonadoptions.org. For people to look at pictures of our dogs. But, we would also love it, especially if people can't have a pet, would you make a contribution to have someone else's pet spayed or neutered? Buy a shirt or anything, just a cash donation or however you want to do it, that would help someone else. And a lot of people who can't keep a pet or are allergic, you can do other things that will help other people who do have them.
So how has your organization been embraced by or I guess recognized by the local veterinary hospitals and things like that? No, I mean, do they understand what you're trying to do, or are they supportive? How does that working out so far?
It is so new that we have only gotten a response from one vet. The letters just went out last week.
Oh, okay.
So this is fairly new. It's kind of been
We are on the
planning.
cutting edge.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow,
you
we
are
are.
on the
We're
cutting
ahead of the
edge.
curve.
Yes.
Joelle.
And I do have a water bowl I'll be
once.
passing around for donation.
There you go.
We have a puppy bowl that we will pass around for money. So we don't know. The 2 that responded, it was, that they weren't interested in being part of the plan. And that's kind of discouraging, but you think, they may have had clients for years that they have assisted, and they may behind the scenes do things and have ongoing for other rescues, not ours certainly, but, where they don't want to take on anything else. And it's a business, you can't fault somebody for not wanting to do that. So we're hoping, I think Cindy said you sent out, 20 letters?
Yes.
And we've only had a response for 2, but it's only been a week. So we're hoping to get our name out there. And then once those 20 come back, if it's a negative, then we'll find 20 more victims. We'll find 20 more that, we'll send Cindy in limping.
Well, I must say that when we first advertised in the Stillwater Valley Advertiser about the Miami County Rescue and Resource Facility, that we had someone from the Tip City Wellness and Veterinarian Hospital, Dr. Mathias's office there, mentioned that they wouldn't mind helping out by being on the advisory committee, because we were looking for an advisory committee to help us move forward in the correct direction and the correct steps. So once we determined that, okay, the first thing we need to do is not necessarily get a building, but how can we help the community before we get that building? We can start fundraising, and we can then offer a low-cost spay and neutering program for canines, because we knew cats were covered. So that's kind of where we're at. We opened the doors to the community by saying, there needs to be a rescue and a resource facility, because the county shelter out there now doesn't have the capacity to keep the dogs forever.
Right.
Doesn't have the capacity to be no kill. Has some problems with their fenced areas, so they don't exercise the dogs and socialize them. So